Alright, what's up, everyone? This is like, I don't even know. I've definitely recorded at least like 12 of these in the last couple days. I've been trying to record this video for well over a year. The topic changes, but I usually make one point, and I think it's best just to stick to this point for now, because this is really my thing. We all think we're right. Prove it. Call for a platform for debate and discussion. One single place where everyone can go and find people discussing the issues that are so important to everyone. Because I think we're wasting our time. I don't think we're being very good examples for our own sides. Genuinely. The things that I see posted when I go online when something major happens, which seems all the time, but like I'm just like, okay, yeah, no, that complex societal issue can definitely be summed up and solved in a paragraph and a meme. Like, you're just getting people upset. You're provoking people. You're provoking your own side. You're feeding into the idea that half the government, all the government, but half the country is idiots. And we celebrate that. Because I'm saying that because we divide everything politically now, and that's like half the country, half and half. So I'm just like, people aren't stupid. People think the way they do for, usually there's a logical progression. Whatever they experience or learn or read or whatever, there's a reason. If you don't want to take the time to find out what that reason is, that's on you and your side. If your side isn't equipping you with references, with questions that people might have, with arguments that can answer, commonly raised points by the other side, then what are you doing? You're just getting people more and more upset. You're just making them think they're more and more right, and that the other side is just too stupid to see it. Do we need to remind ourselves that we're all idiots? Like, that's not difficult for me. I'm the idiot. Like, this is not me trying to be some wise man coming down the mountain, man. I'm an idiot, but we're all idiots. If you're lucky, you have one, maybe two specialties in your life. Specialties. But if I take you outside of those and put you into a totally new area, you're an idiot. That's okay. You'll also quickly realize, like, that the perspective you have about areas that you've never bothered to look into, while they may be sort of correct, you're going to be wrong in a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of different things going on behind the scenes that you would have never thought of before you became involved in it. But we're so sure of ourselves, and we call things beliefs that are not. They're an idea. You don't get to call it a belief if you don't question it and tear it apart and look for as many perspectives as you can and see if your idea still holds up in as many circumstances as you can find. Should you still be holding on to it so tightly? Probably not. I was lucky. I had friends in high school who were like, I think some of them actually went to school for philosophy, but like, we tore apart everything. It didn't matter. Nothing was sacred. Because you understand, I thought, where did we steer wrong? Like, questioning everything is the only way forward. I would like to solve things with our words, because historically we've only solved conflict by either fighting about it or talking about it. And for a society, an online society at least, that likes to call itself, so enlightened or whatever we say now, like, you don't even know the lessons of history. Like, you don't even know the flaws that we have. You don't acknowledge them except for in people you disagree with. You never call it out on your own side, which is you need to do. When I would step in and like posts that I would see on social media, like, you saw me address my friends occasionally because I was like, hey, like, that's not what this is. Knock it off. You're being a terrible representative for your side of things, for my side of things. How does that help? How is giving people on the other side that you're constantly provoking, now you're giving them someone to point to and be like, well, why would I want to be on this side when this guy's such a jerk? But we applaud that. Most of the posts I see, like I said, they're just to provoke the other side. I mean, yeah, there's a thing about, like, it starts a conversation, but that's not how you do it if you want to change people's minds. Belief will talk about what, a believer will talk about whatever their belief is for any reason. Like, give them an excuse. Oh, it's a stupid, ridiculous question. I can't believe you asked that. You don't hear that from believers because they've taken the time to try and find the questions and the arguments for people who don't agree with them and try to find answers for them. That's how you change people's minds. These are major issues, and the only thing I can think of is one stage, one platform that we can go to listen to believers actually talk about what they know. Argue with the people, debate the people on the other side of the issue, and let's see what we can figure out. We have, 8+ billion perspectives on this planet? You're not going to get all of them, obviously, but, we have the opportunity to make changes with a lot less unforeseen, horrible outcomes, oh, we changed this, it helped this, but didn't think about this, or would have never imagined, because life, we have the opportunity to be pretty amazing. We are pretty amazing. I wish, don't let people with authority and positions of power turn everything back on us. You're in charge. You have the power. We have the power, yes, to do what we want, if we really understand that and we're careful with it, but you're making the choices. We always pay the cost. We always pay the price. But we're not the one making the choices. So stop letting them turn it back on us. Also, you don't get to do that when you won't answer my questions. And if you can't, like I said, I don't think you're a believer. I don't even know. You know how difficult it's been in the last 4.5 years to try and learn about things that I'm not suited to even deal with. And I can't find people on both sides of the aisle that cannot resist the urge to just pigeonhole everyone into one side or the other and then talk down to and condescend to that side. We're already on your side, bro. I already think the way you do. I'm looking for you to give me more arguments and things that I can talk to people about. You said you wasted, a 30-minute whatever show, podcast, whatever. I'm you wasted 25 minutes of that just talking smack about the other side and how dumb they are that they can't realize this. How's that bringing anyone to your side? If nothing else, yeah, okay, it's human to be frustrated about things and not understand why people couldn't see things the way that you think they should, but it sounds like that's your problem. Sounds like you need to take more time to figure things out. Maybe you're not the best representative for it. I'm the worst representative for all of this. I shouldn't be talking at all. I'm well aware. But somebody has to. Somebody has to be yo, where are the adults in the room? Where are cooler heads that need to prevail? Where are the people taking a step back? Because, when you actually understand something, there's very little negative emotion behind it. The more you know about something, the more balance there is to it, because you see, depending on what we're talking about, a path forward. Yeah, if you're only focusing on the negative, if you're only pointing out things that are wrong without ever offering a solution, that's easy and pointless, and what are you doing? You trying to rile people up? Defend your belief, by all means, and I think that's why we need a platform for debate and discussion. Because too many people now think belief is a sword, and I'm dude, it's a shield. People asking you questions, they're not... a lot of times nowadays, they are attacking you, unfortunately, based on the way that they behave, the way they speak, the words that they choose. I don't know that they choose them intentionally, but I feel can this much aggression be unintentional? I know there's a lot of emotion. I try to give some grace for that. In the last 4.5 years, the world's been through some crazy stuff. I try to give a little bit of grace for that, but I'm yeah, but the progression since social media really exploded and smartphones were everywhere, that progression of aggression and just talking smack all the time and us celebrating it, oh, good burn. I'm dude, these are major issues. I don't have time for children who just want to call each other names. In a debate, you lose. Answer the question. And I want people to call out all of the people that they follow. Be all right, man, time to put your money where your mouth is. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. I want to see if what you say is correct. Because I think a lot of people are just, I trust this person, so I take their word for it. And I'm I wouldn't do that, man. I trust a lot of people too, but without references, you're wasting my time. Because I've seen it. I have to go back now, but it's difficult. I hate this stuff. Well, you're making your argument better than it is, and you're making their argument. You're telling me that's their argument, but I'm gonna go listen to them make their argument. And most of the time, I'm you're making it weaker than it actually is, or you're not actually saying the point that they had. And then you give this garbage answer to like a fake question that they had, and I'm like, that's not how this works. Makes you look good, gets you lots of followers and pats on the back and likes and all that stuff, but what's the point, man? I don't need people trying to get people's emotions higher and higher, intentionally or not. That's what happens. We're getting frustrated, and that's very dangerous in a society that is that's thought they were so safe, that we don't understand violence and any of that. And that's another video that I'll make. It's part of what I wanted to make, but these videos have been insanely long when I try and talk about everything. But I'm going to talk about what I've learned in the last 11 years stepping into the world of self-defense and martial arts, and a lot of other stuff, the people I've met, and going like, yeah, man, like I actually thought like a lot of you have in the past. My opinions changed as I learned facts and information and a lot of the reasons behind why laws are the way they are, and like use of force, assessing a threat, things of that nature, because I have to teach that as a responsibility of mine when I was allowed to teach the tiniest amount that I know, which is all I know is a tiny amount. Like, it's my responsibility to explain these things to people, because, you want to survive if you have a violent encounter. But, like, you guys aren't... Most people, like, you don't understand. I mean, we give it lip service. Oh, emotion's so dangerous. And I'm like, then why are we not calling out zealots? We have so many political zealots because we've celebrated this erroneous idea that, like, emotion somehow equates to belief. Like, I feel so strongly about something, so I must really care about it. And that's not how that works. You don't even get to control your own emotions. Those are chemicals that your brain controls. And emotions are easily manipulated. In a good and bad way, like, but I mean, I'm not gonna go in and like get all scientific and all of that, but not that I can I'm not that smart, but like your emotions can be manipulated. Like, we're scared of sharks because of the music they play when you saw videos of sharks. It's a real fact. It's a fun fact. But don't you think these things are important enough we should learn? This platform for debate and discussion should have existed since smartphones came out, man. What better way to put information into everyone's hands? Because wrong ideas and wrong things, they exist in isolation. They exist because you don't have exposure to the outside world. You're only exposed to the things around you, and so you think that's reality, and that's normal. That's not a condemnation. And don't be a jerk about explaining it, but like, that's how they work. So if you want to fix them, you bring them out in the open. You show how ridiculous they are. It's like that side's argument is so ridiculous that you don't want to give them a platform to talk about it? Like, how terrible is your argument against it that you wouldn't want to bring that erroneous idea up on stage and mop the floor with it? That doesn't seem suspect at all to anybody. Instead, we give outs to avoid debate and discussion. Real debate and discussion, not me spouting ideology and just stupid points. I'm like, let's actually get into this. Because as soon as you start looking into areas, you're like, why are they talking about it at this level? Like, this is way more complex than this. And like, give them time. I'm here to listen, man. Most people actually are. The amount of people that watch and listen to podcasts and things of that nature is extremely high. So I'm like, well, let's give us the one place where we can go to listen to people talk about these things. I don't care who they are, where they come from, what their reputation is. I don't care. I want everybody to come up and talk. Let's learn some stuff. Let's put our money where our mouth is, and let's figure it out, man. You think you're right? Well, let's find a way to prove it. None of us are right. There's always going to be areas you could not have conceived of. Like, essentially, perspectives, really, that you've never thought of. And you never would have had a perspective on this based on where they're coming from and, like, the area they may be, specializing in. It's an interesting part. But we have to understand that, like, the way we talk is ridiculous. It is childish. It needs to be checked. And if you don't check your own side, you lose credibility. You really do. You're also not really doing your own side much good, because there's that aspect of get your boy or get your girl. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like, you're out in public and it's like, maybe somebody's acting crazy. And you realize that, like, hey, my friend is, maybe they're drunk or whatever. Acting out of pocket, as they say. Acting a little crazy. Like, if a stranger is like, hey, man, like, get your boy. it's because we know you're going to take criticism or correction or whatever from someone you consider a friend or within your own circle or tribe or whatever. Um, you're going to take that better than coming from someone on the outside, but it has to be addressed. So, like, hey, I'm giving you this opportunity because I know it's going to go better. Like, I understand. Like, I could, drink too much or whatever, act a little crazy. Like, this has to be handled. So if you don't, I'm going to. But we get so upset when people question. I'm like, I don't have a side yet. I'm just asking questions because I'm trying to get answers. I'm trying to find questions that people have had that I haven't been able to find an answer that seems like it needs an answer. Like, okay, well, whatever the answer is, it should encompass this point. And I know I'm not smart enough to be that guy, but, like, that's what we all do, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm weird. But I say call for a platform for debate and discussion. Broadcast it to every other platform so no one has an excuse to not watch this stuff and not learn. And once we we can never handle everything, but, like, we can educate ourselves on how things are meant to be. We can figure out so much in life. We can understand how things are meant to work in government that is, massive and convoluted, and, like, how to fix so many areas in our lives. But we have to educate ourselves first, because otherwise transparency is worthless. It's like lots of things sound correct if you don't understand what you're talking about. Like, if your perception is incorrect, you're starting with the wrong premise. So your answer can't really be right. It may sound logical, but it's not. And that's okay. Like, give some people some grace, man. Nobody has time to learn everything about all of these issues. Like, you just can't. You can't read that much and listen to that many things. And why would you nowadays? The venom and the negative emotion behind so many people on both sides. I'm like, I don't want to take that in. I have to learn, though. But man, I would love it if people would just make their points and not insult people, not talk down to people. Like, you're going to push me to one side or the other depending on the way that you talk to me. Not really. But, like, initially, I'm like, well, I usually listen to people who talk like this, but apparently you're really good at it, or you represent your side. And I'm like, I don't know why they let you represent them like this, though. It's not a good thing. I don't know. I'd like to see us behave like we talk. We talk a good game about wanting to listen to people and how accepting we are of other people's ideas. And I'm like, no, you're not, man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's all, anecdotal and what I've experienced. But I'm like, I can't talk to people I agree with about points to help them, give them more information and references. I'm like, hey, if you want to make this point, like, don't do it like that because you're getting upset. And, like, we already agree. So, like, why are you talking to me? Like, are you this aggressive with people who disagree with us? Not a good idea, man. Like, that's not great. Like, yeah, it's human. I'm so upset about it. Like, you can't justify that. Like, just sit down. Like, and I do that myself, man. Like, this is not me judging anyone. All of the things that I see are things that I've experienced myself, my own failings, and there's way more than what I'm just talking about. I'm a screw up. I shouldn't even be making this, but someone has to. And I hope there are lots of people out there calling for this, and I'm just, like, I haven't been exposed to that area of society yet. It's like, I don't want to go off on topic. Call for a platform of debate discussion. Put your money where your mouth is. Call out the people you follow and be like, hey, go debate this. And if they don't want to, start asking them a lot more questions if you're going to keep listening to them. Definitely. And they should expect that. Anyone with a position of authority or whatever, I'm like, you should not expect anyone to just trust you. Because even if you started out good, it's very easy for us to veer off that path. A very human part of, being in a position for a long time and, like, that being your focus is that, I've got the most experience in dealing with this. I have the most information on this. I'm right. You might be. It's logical. It's not a bad argument. It's just, as soon as you close yourself off to new information and new perspective, a little bit of danger there, Like, it seemingly seems like there's a lot of... I don't know. I don't know anything. I know a little bit, and I don't even know if that's right, but I'd like to find out, man. I really hate being wrong. I know I am a lot, but like, I'd like not to be. I'd like to be given a place where I can watch grown-ups behaving like grown-ups and talking about these things without emotion and without just insulting the other side. It seems like that would be great. I'd like us to see how amazing we are when we all work together, because we have lots of examples of how amazing we are. We just forget. I'm not going to make any more points. Let's see if this video made sense. I genuinely love you guys. I don't have enemies on the other side of an issue. We're not important enough to have enemies. If you disagree, let's sit down and talk about it, man. If you really care. If you don't and you just want to be right and you want to yell your points at someone and attack them with your belief, I don't know. I would try and sit down with you, but I only put up with like attack so long, and then I'm out. Maybe that means I'm not the right person either, but shouldn't we find the people that are good examples that we can look to? I don't know. I genuinely love you guys. So we'll talk to you soon.